We're now joined by Orel Hershiser, obviously the star of that 1988 Dodgers team, last World Series title team for Tommy Lasorda, one of two that he won. Orel, it's great having you on the show. Good to see you, and again, condolences to you.
Thank you, Brian, and it is quite a day. We knew this day was coming during the last few weeks, and really over the last few months. We've been doing a lot of FaceTiming with Tommy and getting to talk to him and be with him. We couldn't visit him in the hospital. I actually traveled to Los Angeles a couple times from my home in Vegas to go see him, but wasn't really allowed to go in and see him. But the FaceTime calls have been absolutely amazing, and in the last few, it was evident that Tommy was weakening, and it was evident that he could hear us and that we could talk to him and he could motivate us back, but the energy level just wasn't there. And everybody is so happy that he got to see the Dodgers win another World Championship.
Wow. You know, it's interesting, too, just even thinking about Tommy the last few years. I'd seen him probably, Orel, maybe 2 years ago, and I saw him at a ballpark, here in New York, and I'm walking around and I'm thinking, I don't want to intrude, and I know he's much older now than the last time I spoke to him, and I don't want to, bother him or anything. Who knows? People get in their 90s, they're not as sharp. You don't want to, press them, and he's a celebrity. He knows everybody. Anyway, I'm walking by. He looks at me. He spies me. He goes, "Hey, I want to talk to you." And I was like, "Oh my God!" Like he was really sharp, even into his 90s, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was very sharp. I mean, he aged very, very well. He got a little calmer. He got a little bit more sedate, a little bit more sentimental, I would say, for sure. And but he still had the story, and he still had the enthusiasm and the determination to contribute in life, and that's what the fun part was. I will not remember him over this last year. I will as a great memory and a fond memory, but where I will remember him was when he was in his prime and all the things that he did for baseball, all the things he did for the Dodgers, he did for me, for his family, everything that he did. There was no moment that his eyes were open that he wasn't impacting the world.
Orel, tell us what it was like to play for Tommy Lasorda. Again, day to day, he's your manager. What was that like?
Every day was the most important day in the world. Every day was do or die. Every day was one end of the spectrum of your emotions or the other end of the spectrum of your emotions, whether it was how you reacted to a loss or how you reacted to a win. But there always was going to be enthusiasm and determination, ridiculous intent on what you were doing. And it was the most important day in the world. There was no small day in Tommy Lasorda's life. And when I think about why I achieved success, and it's hard, but, it was because of what he committed into my life and then did not let you let up from it on a daily basis. It was fantastic where he led you and where he motivated you, and every day was important. And that's where you find success.
Orel, let's go back to 1988. You guys were underdogs against the Mets in the NLCS. You won that in 7 games. Underdogs, big underdogs against the A's, and of course you won that. That was your finest hour. You were brilliant, both series, the whole year, of course, the inning streak and all of that. What I'm wondering is, what was it that Lasorda imparted to you guys during that time? Because it seemed like he radiated positivity and you guys fed off it.
Yeah, he could motivate you with positive and he could motivate you with negative. The first thing I thought about is when you talked about all the innings and the great year that we had, I thought about, you're talking about a manager that pitched both halves of a doubleheader, started and completed the games when he was in the minor leagues. You're talking about a guy that would fly cross country and take red eyes and give speeches for Catholic foundations and then turn around and come back to Los Angeles after leaving New York and do the same thing in LA and an off-season trip. You're talking about a person that is one of a kind. And to play for Tommy Lasorda, it was a one-of-a-kind experience. The stories are endless that flood through my head. Anything from what is happening on the field and how he motivated you on the mound to giving me my nickname Bulldog, dog to having, a win and a celebration in his office and staying there till 1 a.m. And he's calling the president of the United States after a day game on a Saturday. and the president actually gets through, and you're talking to President Reagan on just a normal win. I think we did it after my 20th win, when the first time I won 20. Just the people he got you in contact with, the experiences that you had with him, and how he impacted your life as far as in the moment. And I can tell you this, there are a lot of people that think that Tommy Lasorda was an act, or that that's just the way he was in public. Well, in some of his most private times, that is the same Tommy Lasorda that you see in public. You will see an enthusiastic, over-the-top reaction, either on the positive or the negative, and he will continue to be part and the whole zest of life, and the reason you want to be in the room.
Orel, we haven't seen a lot of former pitchers be successful managers. How did Tommy Lasorda buck that?
Well, that's a great point. Usually as a catcher, it usually is somebody maybe that was a team captain and an everyday player. But I think Tommy did that just with determination. I mean, he started in the minor leagues. He got his job as a scout. He then worked his way up onto Alston's staff and then took over as the Dodger manager. The 2 World Championships, the 4 pennants, the All-Star games, the unbelievable bringing the gold medal. But I think he bucked it because of himself. It didn't matter if the odds were against Tommy Lasorda. It didn't matter that he didn't know anybody on his team when they won the gold medal in the Olympics. He said, the world is going to know you guys. I don't even know you guys in this first meeting, but by the end of this tournament, the world is going to know you. That's the way he took whatever the circumstances were, whatever the context was in his life at that moment. He could find a way to motivate you, motivate himself, to turn it into a positive and look for winning.
Orel, terrific having you on today. By the way, in this era of Zoom calls, to see you there with the back Dodger example today as you continue that legacy. Thank you, Orel.
Thank you, big guy. I was taking a shower, and I'm looking for a Dodger blue shirt. I'm looking for everything, and I said, you know what? Tommy loved pastel. He wore a Dodger blue sport coat, but he also wore this blue pastel cashmere kind of sport coat, and I was looking for something that resembled this, and I put this together. This is total Tommy. White dress shirt and a blue blazer.
Doing it proud. Orel, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you again.